There's a dreamy little city.
Safety Harbor has always identified with its rich heritage and historical significance.
Safety Harbor.
Here at the Safety Harbor Museum of Regional History, visitors can connect with the past in a hands-on, informational way. For over 40 years, the museum has amassed an impressive collection that provides visitors with a memorable historic journey. As soon as you walk through the museum's doors, you are immediately transported 12,000 years back in time, when mammoths roamed the grassy plains that would later become Tampa Bay.
Everything in this area that you will see when you come into the museum is the real thing. It's not plastic. When you're looking at mammoth teeth, when you're looking at mammoth bones, it's all authentic. It's 11 or 12,000 years old.
After the large mammals, like the mammoth, became extinct at the end of the Ice Age, the archaic Indians lived in the area in temporary villages, hunting smaller game, gathering roots, berries, and shellfish. They would abandon their villages after depleting the resources, allowing the area to recover. As you continue through the exhibit, you will come into contact with the Tocobaga Indians. These Native Americans are credited as being the first permanent Tampa Bay inhabitants. The Tocobaga were an inventive people, using the plentiful bay waters to survive. Evidence of their harvest can still be seen at Philippi Park, where one of their giant ceremonial shell mounds still exists. Count Odit Philippe, the park's namesake, was in fact not the first European to the area. Panfilio de Narvaez of Spain came in 1528 in search of the gold he was sure the Tampa Bay area possessed. Unfortunately for Narvaez, the Native Americans were smart enough to tell him that they had no gold and that he would have better luck further north.
Narvaez, according to his peers, the other conquistadors, was probably the stupidest of all the conquistadors and one of the most vicious.
Narvaez spent the next 4 months hacking through the Florida underbrush fighting Indians. The conquistadors didn't find any gold, couldn't find any food, and by the time they made it over to the Gulf of Mexico, they had lost half their men and eaten all of their horses. Present-day Safety Harbor wouldn't receive its first permanent European inhabitant until 1823, when Felipe would arrive. The Count was the owner of 160 acres that he received from the government and decided to start one of the first citrus plantations in Florida. Today, he is regarded as the father of Florida's grapefruit industry and credited with introducing them to the area. Felipe died in 1869 and is buried somewhere in the present-day park, his former plantation. His descendants are among the county's most well-known pioneer families.
Odit Philippe, to this day, has many descendants living here in Safety Harbor, and once a year they have, in June, a reunion, and they had about 40 or 50 people at Philippe Park for the reunion.
Safety Harbor has always been known for the healing waters of the mineral springs that still flow at the Safety Harbor Resort and Spa. In 1855, Colonel William J. Bailey visited the area while stationed at Fort Brooke in Tampa. The colonel bought the mineral springs and offered the water to the public free of charge. In the early 20th century, the springs were managed by Colonel Bailey's daughter, Virginia Tucker, and management was passed down throughout the years to various family members. The Baileys weren't the only people to believe that the mineral springs possessed special healing qualities. A man by the name of Green, who was crippled with arthritis, drank from the mineral springs and, as he claimed, was miraculously cured. Originally, Safety Harbor was called Green Springs after Mr. Green and his healing water.
It was called Green Springs, and when the city wanted to incorporate in 1917, they wanted to call it Green Springs. But the problem was there was another Green Springs Cove in the Jacksonville area, and the Postal Department said, can't use that name.
Eventually, the founders settled on Safety Harbor because it was just that, a safe harbor. The same year of its incorporation, the city endured its first disaster when a fire ravaged the downtown business district and destroyed it completely. The only surviving building was the brick building on Main Street, the bank. Today, this building is still serving the community as the Chamber of Commerce.
It was so easy in those days to have a major fire. What happened was it caught fire, and the entire city, which was basically built of wood, was flattened completely.
After the smoke had cleared, Safety Harbor was rebuilt better than ever. The city enjoyed a decade of uninhibited economic growth and prosperity. Unfortunately, all that wealth would come to a screeching halt during the Great Depression. However, like the rest of the country, World War II would be the fuel that powered the city out of its economic slump. In the 1980s, development of new subdivisions and commercial projects soared as the city's population grew from 8,000 to 15,000 in just 10 years. Today, Safety Harbor remains dedicated to improving the quality of life for its citizens. Recent efforts by the city, such as the Going Green initiative, including passing a tree ordinance, as well as bringing the recycling program in-house. These are just some of the things Safety Harbor is working on to better the community. Improvements also continue along Main Street to ensure that the downtown remains a safe, pedestrian-friendly environment that can support businesses and remain a destination for everyone. The Safety Harbor Museum of Regional History also provides a rotating exhibit that showcases a multitude of artifacts and artwork from various aspects of Florida life. The museum is always welcoming to guests, so visit their website at safetyharbormuseum.org for tour information or the latest news on exhibitions.
There's a dreamy little city that is down West Florida way, whose moss draped oaks and pine trees line the shores of Tampa Bay, where healing waters strengthen all those who come to stay, and happy homes are found there mid the tropic flowers gay. Safety Harbor by the shore